bud.
So we'll be going live.
Jesus Christ.
It's streaming. But
We are? I don't see anything on YouTube.
that's okay. It will be fine.
There it is.
Yep.
Now we're live.
Well, welcome to the Schaeffer's Turbo Series. This is round number 11 of the Schaeffer's Turbo Series. We've got Gary Gotso on the pole. Thanks for noticing that, Dakota.
That would have been very bad.
Yeah, there's streaming, but there's one other button that you have to press. Unlike Twitch just automatically goes. On YouTube, you have some extra buttons to press. So quickly go through the grid once again. We've got Gary Gotso on the pole here. First pole here in the Schaeffer's Turbo Series. Not his first pole that I've seen him do, though, because over in the Velocity Online Racing League, he had a pole, I believe, at Homestead. James Watson, one of our championship contenders in P2, Christian Jasper in P3, Christopher Kresge in P4, Andrew Spates in P5, Simon Fell in P6, and Chris Cawthorn in P7, Jeff Testino P8. A couple of no qualifiers there at the back of the field. We'll be doing 80 laps here tonight. And that will take us probably about 9 o'clock tonight, and then we'll be off for about a half hour, and we'll be back for the Schaeffer's Cup Series.
Pace truck is in.
That's right. Gary's going to bring us to the green flag. All these drivers want to be really careful around our championship drivers of Watson and Spates. Everybody wants to make it through cleanly. And so far, so good. Gary Gotso currently leading. Watson trying to work on him. This will be interesting to see how this setup is. Jasper looking really low on the rumble strips back there. But he made it through. And we'll see how this... we'll be running the same setup here tonight that we're going to be running later tonight in the Turbo Series, or in the Cup Series. And Kresge has lined up in about P3. They're really running the high line, it looks like, in turn 1 and 2. But that just might be some of the car in front of them and the tire wear that they're worried about and running that high line. Can't keep it down low for these drivers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how tire wear takes place on these short ovals. On some tracks, it's important. On other tracks, it seems to not be important at all. Clean air seems to be much more dominant. So we'll see what happens with tonight at World Wide Technology Raceway.
That's right. So I was going to bring up the championship points just to show you guys. So Andrew Spates currently in the lead with 355 points. That is to James Watson, our other championship contender, with 353. So currently, as they run, Watson would take over that championship lead. So Andrew Spates has some work to do back here in the 5th position. Gonna need to get back up to the front. So far, so good. In terms of no caution flags, anything like that, everybody's kept it off of the wall. Everybody's really spread out here, it seems like, other than that group in about 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And Spates kind of looks on that low line. We haven't seen many cars doing that so far tonight through turn 1 and 2. You can really run some different lines here at this track, at least if your car is working well or not. As Spates is going to look, well, I think he was thinking about it, but didn't quite have the slipstream on that straightaway to make a move on Jasper there. As now Jasper's working on Kresge. These two drivers were actually racing last night in the Tuesday Night Thunder series, where they faced off at the New Hampshire Speedway. Both running the same livery, but on that PM18 car instead.
Yeah, they're Jasper really likes that 96 throwback.
Yeah, he does.
Kresge with his trademark red and blue Reddit paint.
Yeah, I think they're both really good looking paints. Spates, he's got that Red Bull livery. He might think about getting something custom made at some point in time.
I agree. I agree. I think the Red Bull is a little too cliche, you know?
Yeah. I'm dating myself a little bit, but back in the early days of R Factor, I actually used to run the Red Bull livery, but that was even before they had... Well, they might have had the Formula One team back then, but they were not winning any races back then. This was pre-Sebastian Vettel era Red Bull. It was probably back when he was racing it in Formula 3 is when I was racing it in Formula 3 and R Factor. So Spates making a move going inside of Jasper. We'll see if Jasper can come back on that high line through turn 4. Looks like, well, he might have a run. Jasper might have a run down this straightaway. You can get a really good slipstream down this straightaway, but it looks like he just is going to tuck behind Spates there. Let one of the championship contenders kind of have their own race. You don't want to be the driver that destroys somebody else's championship contention.
Yeah, that's right.
Have you ever done that, Dakota?
No.
Yeah, I don't think
I
have either.
I don't believe so.
Off the top of my head, I don't think I've ever...
Jasper actually making a move back on Spates.
Back. Yeah.
Kresge is closing in on Watson as well.
Here's an interesting note, though, for you, Dakota. I mean, how many laps are we? We're only 13 laps in this race. They are running 26-second laps. So this is significantly slower than qualifying. We were running 25. What was the pole speed? 25.1. 25.190, I believe it was, by Gary Gazzo, but they're running... Gary's best was a 25.7, and his last lap was a 26.3, so they've really dropped off. So good luck later tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be an important note if we get cautions tonight. Drivers are going to take tires, and we'll see what happens. That's good. I think tire fall off is good on short ovals.
The question is... if they're going to fall off in 5 to 10 laps, can you maintain that position? We knew it. So at Iowa, that did not work out. Craig Forsyth had stayed out with old tires. Certainly couldn't hold anybody off with the old tires when everybody else had new tires. But maybe here you could. I don't know.
Legend says he's still out there at Iowa on those old tires. Still trying to finish the race.
So, I was just looking at, we've got Destino currently in P8. At some point, Gary's going to catch up to that lap traffic. We'll see how he manages getting around that lap traffic. But yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting here tonight. How this tire strategy plays out. The fuel stint it'll usually be about 45 laps, maybe a little bit more than 45 laps. I don't think over 50 though, at least with the green flag running. Watson's currently in a happy place. He doesn't need to push. He doesn't need to get around Gary up there or anything like that.
Yeah, Gary's checked out, almost a 2-second lead now.
Yeah, and then just kind of Everybody from Gary, other than Destino, is back about 7 seconds from Simon Feld, but everybody from 2nd to 7th are about a half a second off of one another. So pretty close there. Don't really know which one to follow. It looks like Cawthorn is catching up to Spates, though. This is more bad news for Spates. I did see Spates was running a lower line early on than some of the other drivers ahead of him through turn 1 and 2. I wonder if that just might have expedited his tire fall off just a little bit. I don't know.
I think Gateway is one of the hardest tracks to learn at first.
Yeah.
If you're new to IndyCar and oval racing.
So actually, James Watson's brought that lead from Gary down to 1.5 seconds. Gary was a little bit slower last lap. Well, they just matched match laps there, but Gary had a slow lap a couple laps ago. But James Watson's doing exactly what he has, what he needs to do here tonight. Destino is like the one that's really off the pace, about almost a 27-second lap. So he's just getting this track figured out back there in the 8th position. That lead from Gary is back up to 2 seconds. So it looks like he sorted out whatever maybe slight error he had. About halfway through this fuel stint. This is giving me second thoughts, so I was mentioning something about starting from the rear of the field might be an idea, but I'm not so sure that's a good idea anymore with how this race is playing out. I think track position is key.
I believe so too.
Yeah. This is certainly a different kind of race than what we saw last season from the from the Cup Series.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember much of that race.
There was just, I'm thinking they were quite a bit faster. You could really get good runs coming off of turn 4 on that straightaway. As Cawthorn might be having a run on Spates up here.
I think you'll get to him soon.
Yeah, it's. I think Cawthorn is kind of biding his time, but at some point in time, if he's holding you up that much, you're just gonna, you're gonna make that move regardless of what the championship battle has.
Let's go. You want to go on Cawthorn's onboard?
Yeah, that's a good
idea. Kind of see his method of how to follow Spates and see how he can close in on an attack.
I can see also up ahead, Jasper and Kresge are really close in a battle, but both of these, Cawthorn and Spates and Jasper, and we can see them both from the in-car here. So off of this turn 4 here, Cawthorn he kind of takes a little bit lower line. About the same line through turn 1 and 2. He has to back out of it from that arrow wash coming out of turn 2. Looks like Jasper's going inside around Kresge up there. So Jasper gets into P3. Kresge's going to try to...
Kresge!
Whoa, I thought he might have gotten loose there or something off of 4.
That's going to bring all 4 of these cars close together.
Right, yeah. And now, Spates is going to be putting pressure on Kresge.
Spates goes inside. Kresge gives him room, and Cawthorn's going to make it through too.
If Kresge might have brushed the wall or something. I don't know. It looks like he's okay. So Spates is going to move into P4. Jasper's there on P3. Might want to also mention there's Gary hanging out at the front. Commanding lead at the moment. He is not quite 2.5 seconds ahead of James Watson in P2.
Yes, Krusky had hit the wall back on lap 28.
Okay. Yeah, he's dropping back. Even Fell has gotten around him, so not much you can do until you get to the point where, you know, you're gonna, I think so if it's a 45 lap to pit, he's got about 5 laps where he could duck into the pits at the earliest possible time. Looks like he might need to have some repairs though, so that's gonna be extended stop. Cawthorn still under pressuring. I'm gonna go back to that onboard with Cawthorn to get a look at this since we cut away from it earlier. So Spates really go low onto almost the rumble strips there in turn 3 and 4. Spates really low in that corner, turn 1 and 2 now.
Yeah, Spates is arcing that first turn 1 and 2 a lot, and Cawthorn's doing the right thing by doing the opposite of him. Turn 3 and 4, he's following Spates very closely, except on exit.
Yeah, Spates goes really wide on exit. But you don't want to exactly follow the car in front of you in these Indy cars because they're so aero sensitive. As I think Kaufman's going to have
Here
a
we
run
go. He backs out.
Yeah. These cars are on old tires at this point, so you might just not want to run side by side with these tires slipping and sliding all around. And with the pit stop coming up, he might be able to get them just through pit stops.
True.
Looks like he has another good run on him though here. And it looks like he's going to back out again. Go back to our TV cameras up above.
So Gary's lap times are still 26.3, 26.4.
Yeah, and Watson is about the same. Yep.
They haven't dropped off since lap 10 or so.
Yeah, I think that's about the time I noticed that they were running about 26-second laps. So it's like a quick drop off, and then it just kind of stays about the same.
Do you think it's worth pitting for fuel and not taking tires? Because if these cars can go about, what, you think 50 laps?
The fuel is going to take the same amount of time as it's going to take to put on the tires, though.
It may.
Yeah, I think I would definitely take tires. What I was thinking when you were saying that, I thought maybe you might ask, if I was, say, Cawthorn here, I would pit now and do an undercut, knowing that I can get to the end of the race from here.
Yes.
And you get around Spates. As he's going to look inside. He's just going to go ahead and do it now. Spates looking inside Cawthorn looking inside of Spates.
Spates gives him room, and Cawthorn clears him.
And through that whole battle, Simon Fell has been catching up to that battle as well.
And Spates backs out of a run, so that it will be Cawthorn's spot.
Now we'll see what Simon Fell does back there. The championship run here for Spates not quite going how he wants it to go, as we are exactly halfway through this race here tonight. 40 laps of 80 complete. As Gary Gotso leads, James Watson he's dropped off a bit from Gary up there. In fact, James Watson, his last lap was a 27-second lap. I don't know what happened there. Jasper was running comparative to the leader at a 26.3. And actually, Cawthorn as a 26.3 as well, so I think Watson just had maybe a moment there a couple laps ago. I think we'll be looking at pit stops anytime soon. Closest battle on the track is Simon Fell and Spates. Fell in P6, Spates in P5. Just about half a second between the two drivers. Kresge has opted not to pit, even though he is running significantly slower than any other car on the track. He's running, well, he's was a little faster that lap, but he was running, did a 27.5. And Destino has actually caught up to him.
Yeah, I think Kresge's just hoping for a caution at some point.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's coming here, though.
With such a small field, there's less cars to wreck, so
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
This track is one of those that actually doesn't have a lot of cautions. As I see...
Fell is going to be the first one on the pit road.
Yeah, so he's the first one to blink. This is a really tricky pit lane. So Gary has won at this track before, and he was like a lap ahead of the entire field, and he won't like me talking about this, but he spun it coming into the pits as the leader, and he brought out the caution, and then got a free pit stop out of it. So
wow, pro strats.
Pro strategy for Gary there. We'll see if he ends up doing it again. Not something that can really be planned as much as Jasper is on the pit lane as well as Cawthorn. Gary stays out. Watson really slow. He's coming down the pits as well.
Keep an eye on Cawthorn. He crossed pit entry at 60 miles an hour. So
okay.
Tires are being changed. His car's down and he's going, so it looks like he's all right.
Yeah. Watson seems slow to me coming to the pits. Maybe he's just being extra cautious. So Spates and Gazzo and even Kresge stayed out, even though he's running significantly slower. Destino stayed out as well.
Oh, Watson almost spun it coming out of his pits.
I'm just hoping he didn't like brush the wall on that lap where he was coming in, because he seemed really slow down the back straightaway. So I don't know if he had an issue or something. Keep an eye on Watson, our championship points leader. Oh, he's losing it. Oh, he had to get out of it. He's going to be working his tools. I think he might have brushed the wall, as I was mentioning earlier, and either that or cold tires or something. He's through turn 1 and 2 correctly, though. I think that was a big Code Brown moment for him. As he's under pressure from Jasper. He doesn't need to fend off Jasper that much here. He just needs to finish ahead of Spates for this championship. And Spates is leading the lap. Gary is on the pit lane, our leader. And Spates will lead a lap here as well. That's an important point to get. And Spates on the pit lane now.
I don't believe Watson hit the ball or anything. I just checked his last 5 laps.
Okay.
I think it just might have been cold tires.
Yeah, well, that's good. He was able to maintain it. I guess that's a note for you and anybody else watching here tonight for the Cup race, that these tires are pretty difficult on that first lap out, which I guess is the case with this new tire model, and we've been talking about it all season, but every new track's a different kind of experience. These short ovals are definitely tough with the new tire model, more so than they ever were before. Spates driving off the pit lane. He's going to come out in about 7th position. Destino is going to end up leading the lap, and he's ducking into the pits now as well. But he stayed out longer than anybody. And Gary Gazzo will retake the lead, so he's not going to lead all the laps here tonight. Not going to lead all 80 of them, but he'll lead the most of them, I'd say. Watson's back up to P2, under a lot of pressure from Jasper and Cawthorn, though, only about 0.3, half a tenth behind him. Spates is about 3.5 seconds back from Cawthorn. Simon Fell is about a second back from Spates. And Kresge's been relegated to that 8th position now. A good battle here between Jasper and Cawthorn. So the lap times of like Gary up there, he's back into the 25.8s. So fresh tires. Yeah, generally speaking, in an IndyCar pit stop, I would always take tires. Like, unless it's a splash and dash. Cawthorn is about 0.2 back from Jasper, working on trying to get that podium position from Jasper. And Gary has hit the 26-second lap time there, so he's about only 6 laps into his stint, and he's into the 26s. As Cawthorn really looks like he's going to have a move on Jasper here coming up.
Oh, right here, I think. He's going to get a good run out of turn 4.
He really likes that low line, yeah.
Mm-hmm, gets the toe. He's going to back out of it, actually. There he goes.
Yeah, he's
and then gets the inside.
Exit out of turn 2. Side by side down the back straightaway. See if Jasper can come back on that outside. It actually might be a little bit quicker on that outside, a little bit more banking up there. It's not like progressively banked, but it just naturally is a little bit more banking up there. But Jasper holds on to that 3rd position. Cawthorn stays right on Jasper's gearbox there. Gets back underneath him. Some good racing here. Only 8 cars in the field, but it only takes 2 cars to really make a race. So Cawthorn takes P3 for the moment. At the line, it was Cawthorn for P3, but Jasper's going to come back. And Spates back there in P5 is joining this battle. So he's going to take it 3 wide. He thinks about it, and it looks like he's going to... Yeah, he sticks it in there, and he's up there with Jasper, going inside of Jasper. And run still low on Jasper.
Ooh, gets a little loose out of turn 2.
Still in it, though. He is going to have to reset here for a moment, and just holding that low line through 1 and 2. His car got a little bit loose on that exit. Gets a really good draft off of turn 2 now, and Spates is going to try to make a move on Jasper, getting back up to that 3rd position. And he does it. So Watson up there in second position is going to see that Spates is right there. He knows that he can't make any mistakes, even though he's got about 3 seconds ahead over Watson. And not much Spates can do other than just run his own race. But Watson's going to see in the relative that Spates is right there. Yeah, I think Spates is just could see that championship maybe falling away and just focused a little bit more on this, after the pit stop, and he's made it back and onto that podium position.
Confident on the inside of Jasper going into turn 3 again.
Yeah, this battle's been going on. This is a good one. Cawthorne's going to have the position at the line. Jasper holding on the outside, though. That outside line can just go a little bit deeper, but I think Jasper took it a little bit too much. Oh, no. Still side by side down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Jasper looked like he got a little bit loose in the corner, but he still ended up getting a really good exit.
Quick question from the chat. They were asking if this was Homestead. No, it is not. This is World Wide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway, over there in... it's close to St. Louis, but it is on the Illinois side, so I don't know if that's actually considered St. Louis. So Cawthorne takes over that 4th position from Jasper there. "13 laps to go." Gary Gazzo has led this whole thing. Just about, other than the handful of laps around the time of the pits. Don't want to jinx Gary here, but I know he really wanted to win one of these turbo races this season, so a good time to do it. Spates in P3 has actually brought down that gap to Watson to 2 seconds.
Yeah, he's been about 0.2 faster in the last 2 laps.
So Spates is a man on the mission at the moment.
Watson with a 26.308 on that, and Spates...
he might catch him right at the end of this.
26.134, so it's another 10th there.
He's just going to have to keep doing what he's doing. He's got a little bit newer tires than Watson. Watson pitted 23 laps ago and Spates 19 laps ago, so 4-lap newer tires. That little bit might be a difference here.
A little under 1.7. It's going to be close now. I think Watson just needs to keep running that pace, don't make any mistakes, and I think he should be good here.
I think so. I think
Watson,
yeah, go ahead.
He ran a 10th faster on that lap, or compared to his previous times. However,
Yeah.
Spates still cut in another 10th.
Yeah, so Watson is responding somewhat. Not much between them. A second and a half at this point. Go with a wide angle lens so we can see both of them.
Watson's actually been cutting into Gary's lead a little bit too, right? Didn't Gary have a 5-second lead?
I believe so. It might have even been more than that at one point in time. So Watson's last lap, it was a 26.4 to Spates 26.2.
2.
But we've only got 8 laps to go here, so Watson just has to keep it together here. You can see him on the back of the screen. Spates moving into range, though. At some point, he's going to get a little bit of help on these straightaways, too, off that slipstream.
the hardest part is that I feel on short ovals there's a barrier in between. It's like the 1.5 second to 1 second range where you catch the dirty air in the corners, but you don't catch any toe in the straights.
Okay.
So that's just under my observations.
He might have just hit that point too, because that last lap Watson was faster by a tenth. So. So it might just stay about that 1.5 second range once he catches up to that. With that said, though, Spates just did a really good lap there. He's brought it down to 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds.
Now, Kresge is also a lap down, and Watson's catching up to him.
Yeah, that could affect it. That last lap was basically even for both drivers. Three laps to go. And Spates has brought it within a second. I know we're supposed to talk it up, but about 2 laps to go now. It might be just a little bit too late.
Oh, Kresge spins, brings out the yellow. Spates is going to hit him!
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Well, let's get a replay of that. I think we're going to have the field locked here, though, at this point. I'm going to see what Kresge did there, though. Kresge running 8th. Really low entry into the corner. Gets onto the rumble strips. Right in front of Watson at that point. And Watson is going to be our series champion. Did we not have a caution from that? Oh, wait, now we do.
We did.
All right, okay. This is final lap. I think Gary just had to catch up to the pace car. Well, that was a scary moment for these drivers. What can you say when the admin spins?
Well, that was the final test of the championship, was dodging that wreck.
We'll have to ask. We're going to bring Watson in here. We'll bring in Gary, but we'll get Watson. We'll bring in Gary first because we'll talk to Gary, and he'll just stay in here because he'll be joining us later. So Gary Gazzo is going to win this. I wonder, what does Gary do for his win? What does Watson do for his championship here? If I know Gary, he might just drive it around and park it in the pits.
Yeah, you told me before donuts are overrated.
A little bit, yeah. I agree with that to a point as well.
Both of you are wrong.
I think every race, maybe not, but yeah, some races for sure. Let's see what he does.
I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch both of them here. I think Watson's definitely doing them.
Gary was about to hit the wall.
Yeah, we got both of them. Watson's doing them.
Oh, Gary. Oh, he hit the wall. There he goes.
There we go. Yep. So we got our race winner and our championship winner here celebrating tonight. Well, let me see about bringing somebody up here if we can. I think we can just bring Gary up. Okay, we're gonna.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm watching.
That's one way to celebrate.
Yep, that was interesting. I haven't quite seen that one before. Should we bring Gary in here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hey, Gary, Matt, and Dakota up here in the booth.
Hey!
Congratulations on your victory. This is your second victory at Gateway. This one a little bit different than that first one, though. Tell us about your race.
I hate this track. I don't know what it is. It was just pretty straightforward race. Took the lead. Wanted to stretch it just in case I screwed up on the pit stop again. Hit my pit. Came in, went out, and actually made time on second place. So I'm just like, let's just take it easy and cruise. And then for a minute there, I had a little bit of a heart attack, thinking that there might be a green-white checker in this league. It would have been blasphemous, and I know Christopher knows better. So, yeah. Then once I came around and saw the checker, I was like, whew, but I've still yet to take a checkered flag under green here, though.
Well, that can be a little bit the nature of the course, you know. So, really good run here tonight. You had the pole. So congratulations there. I was trying to think. So when was you had a pole in VOR? I think last season, didn't you?
No, I've never had a pole in VOR.
Okay, I thought you did.
I've been on the front row a couple times, but never the pole.
Okay, well, congratulations on the pole here. Really good lap. It looked like the tires fell off quickly and then kind of stayed where they were after 5-10 laps.
Yeah, once they came up to temperature, the back end was really loose. So anybody listening at home, I was 6'1", positive 10 in quals, and 6'1", 10 to start my run, and then slowly took it down. And by the time I reached the end of my run, I was at least on that fuel stop, I was like 6'1", like positive 5, positive 6. So you were kept pretty busy on the weight jackers as the run went through. Mm-hmm. It wasn't so much 1 and 2, making sure, because you pretty much are slowing down about to the same speed all the time in 1 and 2. It's where you feel the push in 3 and 4. So if you feel it pushing, you go down a little bit, and then if you find out that you feel that little bit of a twitch, you're like, "Whoa, okay, I want to put that up," and then you adjust your weight jacker there. So it was pretty straightforward, and I'm just glad I survived. And congratulations to the championship winner. If he got to me, I was going to pull over, and if he got to me, I wasn't necessarily going to pull over, but we were gonna do it cleanly, and I was no way I was going to wreck him. But congratulations on him. Congratulations to the guys that finished second, and to the guy and to the rest of the guys that finished on the podium.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be pulling in the champion here, Gary. I'm just going to leave you in here because, you're broadcast partner here. So, hey, James, Matt up here in the booth with Dakota and Gary. Well, you are the series champion. Congratulations.
Oh my God. I'm just so speechless. That was the most stressful race I have ever been in. I'm still shaking. And crying, shaking while crying.
Well, you also said, I think you said something like that last week too, with your Road America win, right? So which really was more difficult, this or that one?
I don't really know, honestly. I just know probably this one because, I knew the title was on the line. Because last week, I needed a miracle. I needed to throw up a Hail Mary. But here I knew all I needed to do was finish ahead of Andrew.
Correct,
So there was a lot more nerves and anxiety. And so just trying to watch the relative, keep the car under me. And oh my God, he was stressing me out because he ran me down. And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
no.
You had a big gap, but he was fast at the end.
My God, and plus it didn't help that I almost destroyed it on my outlap. I got coming into 3, and I just had to lock her down, and I caught her somehow and didn't panic, thankfully.
Yeah, it was a major Code Brown moment. I saw that on the camera. I thought for a moment you were really. It looked like you really took it easy coming into the pits, though. At least that was my visual, what I thought I saw anyway. I don't know how true that was, or it was just old tires, but yeah, on that exit, you had that big moment there. I thought that was about to go all pear-shaped, as they would say, over across the pond. That's what they call it.
I was getting flashbacks because I did I did the exact same thing in last season's finale here. So I'm like, no, my old demon's coming back to haunt me.
Well, congratulations. You are the Turbo Series champion this season, and you earned it. We were looking at before the race, we were like, what's the tiebreaker? And you had 2 wins, so if it was tied, you would have won. So.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, but I knew with how the points broke down, and with the fact that we only had 8, I knew that it was basically going to be whoever finishes ahead of who, NASCAR playoff type style.
Yeah. Hey, I can see a note from Kresge in the chat. He said that on that final couple laps thing there, he said if he wasn't the admin of the league, he would kick himself out of the league for that crash there. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw him. I'm like,
If there was anything you had to face tonight, you had a final test. I think Dakota said that you had a final test of the spinning car in front of both of you guys. So
yeah, I was doing the mark of the cross, like I'm like while I'm watching him spin.
Well, congratulations, James. Maybe we'll see you up in the Cup Series next season. I don't think we're going to be running Turbo. But of course, Race First is going to see you also over in the Tuesday Night Thunder League.
Oh, I'll be in Cup next year. You're going to get sick of me, man. You'll never get rid of
me. All right, man. Well, take care, and we'll see you then. And enjoy this.
Oh, I will.
Sounds good. All right, well, that is our race. Just run through the final. Spates ends up coming third. Jasper in... Oh, this is incorrect information, actually, I think, because people have exited. Because it doesn't say that you won, Gary. So this is bad information. I can't even run through it now. So I guess we'll just be back about 9:30 for the Cup Series race. And Dakota will be there, and he can use all the information Gary just told you guys about what to do.
yeah, Gary, you were listing that stuff off. I was taking notes. I was like, all right, you sure you want to be giving that away? Because we have another race this Saturday with the same setup.
That's right, yeah. Okay, well, we'll see everybody in about a half hour, 45 minutes or so. So talk to you then.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing. Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Hello and welcome to round number 12 of the Schaeffer's Cup from Gateway, also known as World Wide Technology Raceway. For Race First, this is Matt Houston, joined by Gary Gotzo, our winner from earlier tonight in the Schaeffer's Turbo Series. How's it going, Gary? I think it's probably pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I've had let's say it's a good night. Let's just say it's a good night. Let's leave it at that.
It's a good week from what I hear.
And if you just heard that, that was my bottle of champagne. So we are going to celebrate in style. But yes, it's been a good week for me. But I'm happy to be here in Gateway. I don't call it World Wide Technology Park because it's Gateway, and it's always going to be Gateway. And IndyCars have been coming here for a long, long time. We're going to see probably a great race tonight, and it's going to be a challenging race because this is not an easy track by any stretch of the imagination.
As Caleb Bensi currently the top of the board, we were wondering what kind of laps might be possible here, Gary. That first lap was a 25.14. This, I don't think he had a little bit of a moment. I don't think it's going to be fast. Oh, no, wait. Coogan goes to the top of the board. So,
that man's always fast on ovals.
Yes,
no
he
surprise
is.
there. Vinci, I think, put in his first lap. I think it might be his first.
Okay, he completed another one, but let's see here. I think my overlay is not being exactly correct. It is actually 0.002 off on that second lap. So really close between those drivers there. Who else do we have out here? Neil Lusher is out there as well.
Let's see what Dakota goes when he finally.
I wonder if he's maybe thinking of starting from the pits. And just a shout out, we've got the music playing at the beginning of the broadcast here. That is made by Shane Coogan currently. Well, Sanders goes to the top of the board.
Wow.
As I say that. Western Waves Media, though, Shane Coogan doing this fine music for us here tonight for the Reddit series. Final race of the season here. Championship is already wrapped up. Yep, it's already wrapped up. Caleb Bensi is our champion for this season.
Not sure what John Freeze is doing. Taking a slow lap. Maybe just getting the time.
Let's have a look. He might just be trying to qualify with the slowest speed, so he starts above the no qualifiers, but there's a strategy sometimes to do that in the actual fixed. In the fixed series, I see a lot of people do that kind of stuff when you run the official fixed. Like, they want to be ahead of the guys that either crashed or didn't want to qualify anyway, but then, I don't know the exact strategy of it all. There's always starting from the pits, too, if you don't want to get involved in anything.
That might not be a bad strategy. I'm not quite sure that it's necessary to start from the pits. Watch me, they wad it all up in turn one, so I'll say that.
I mentioned it to Dakota before your guys' race in the Turbo Series, but then once it got going, I was like, I think it's pretty clear that if you started from the pits in this race, it would not have been the right choice in that race anyway. Tonight, in this one, in the Cup race, it might be the right choice. So we are done with qualifying, and Gavin Sanders.
All right.
A lot of cars not qualifying here tonight. Really interesting. So let's go through the grid. I switched my overlay over to a timed or a lapped race rather than timed. So starting the grid here. Gavin Sanders is going to be P1 with a 25.036. You probably got the speeds on that, Gary. I'm going to pull that up real quick. It's a 179.595, followed by Shane Coogan. Caleb Bensi, our champion in the series, in P3. Hayden Herman, kind of a teammate there, although we don't have teammates in this series, but a buddy of Caleb's there. Nicholas Isidro in P5. Dylan Blanton in P6.
We got Craig Forsyth with the hand controls, 177.138 in 7th. Tyler Coogan in 8th. Alex Van Descent in 9th. Neil Lusher in 10th. Wes Shire, in 11th. And Dakota will be slotted in 12th, but with no time.
Yeah, so everybody from here is the no qualifier. Christopher Albee, no qualifier. We got the admin in there, so that's just they're not starting there. But John Freeze, Adam Nash, Matthew Cosgrove, and Drew White. I think that is our field. Yep, it appears to be our field there. So 17, 18 cars starting here tonight. That's about what we used to have in like the non-Indianapolis IRL races, if I remember, in about like the 2007 era before the merger.
Yeah, they had about 20 cars they could field on a regular basis back then.
Champ Car was about the same way, and you'd have the 17, 18 cars at the most in those races. So thank God there was the merger and they had more cars. So a really good run by a teammate of yours in another series there, and Gavin Sanders here tonight.
Yeah, he put down a hot one. That was even faster than my lap, so I'm going to be talking with him.
140 laps here tonight. They're going to be doing, 45 laps to a pit stop. Basically, I'd say it's a 2-stopper. Some cars might do it in 3 if there's a...
so we got a couple pulling down, one in an EOL.
I think... so last season, there was a lot of issues at the start of this race. I don't know if these drivers didn't watch the turbo race because there wasn't really much contact in that race till the very end. So I think they might be thinking about last season's race. Or the VOR race that 4 of 16 cars finished that race that you won there, Gary.
Well, that was a cluster for a whole other reason. That was the old tire model, and the setup encouraged pack racing. I don't think they have to be too concerned with that tonight. Yeah.
I also ran one over in the official series, and we started with about 20 cars. This is an open setup thing with the old tire model, and I think we only had like 7 or 8 cars at the end too. So this track just kind of wads up cars. Not sure with the new tire model how it's going to go, but with the old tire model, it certainly did. So
here we come to green.
Sanders on the inside, Shane Coogan on the outside.
Flash bulbs are a-poppin'.
Gonna be going all night with those flash bulbs. Into turn 1 we go. Gavin Sanders leads.
Now Gavin is got the lead into the corner, but the faster line is the higher line, and that's exactly where Shane is. And he's taking a look, and he's probably going to take a pop out on the outside, going through 3 and 4.
And he tries to make that work on the outside. It looks like Gavin had a little moment on the inside, and Shane Coogan is going to lead this first lap here tonight.
Yeah, if you take it down low on the first lap with these tires, it will get loose, and that's probably what he experienced. He probably didn't want to be that low, but probably when he wanted to move up a little bit, Shane was right there. So we're already getting ready to enter turn 3 again on lap 2. So they're moving right along.
And now Caleb's working on, and I think that Gavin had another moment there because he was low and then he was high, and then Caleb Bensey takes over that second spot. Hayden Herman's looking low, not quite there.
Wow, way up in the gray. Way up in the gray there.
Yeah, Gavin's trying to figure it out here, what exactly he needs to do to get this thing sorted underneath him, it looks like.
Yeah, it takes about 2 laps to get those tires fully up to temperature. Maybe a lap and a half.
Just looking through the field, we've got a big gap back to Drew White, about 3 seconds off of Albee there in P9. A really tight battle with Craig Forsyth behind Tyler Coogan, but Christopher Albee looking inside of Craig Forsyth. Alex Van de Zandt on pit lane.
Oh, that is unscheduled.
That is unscheduled.
Your fastest man right now in purple is Caleb with a 25.5.
Okay, that's interesting that he's quick with, on a lot of these short ovals, usually it's the lead car that's the quickest. So
well, the draft actually does work here a little bit, as you know, but yeah. I mean, you were racing kind of in the old tire model as well, but I think with the new tire model, the draft does work a little bit, and you could get a good run on somebody off of 3 and 4 if you stay right there. Aero push is not going to help you get to 1 and 2, though, if you continue to stay there.
That's right. Yeah, you kind of have to drive a different line, get that front wing some needed air to keep that front downforce on the car. So it looks
now, turn one looks narrow, but there are about 2.5, maybe 3 lines if you really want to go up high through. So you could experiment if your car is not working on changing your lines.
Yeah, so it looks like Isidro is working on Hayden Herman back there for the 4th position. Isidro's going to take it high on the exit. Herman went low, and it looks like Isidro is going to have the better position. Into turn 1 they go. Herman tries to come back, and he does for the moment. It's kind of a drag race down the back straightaway.
It's like Gavin's got his tires up to temperature and has got himself into it now. So
as Hayden slid up the track in front of Isidro. Isidro now tries to make it work on the low side. Oh, there might have been a tap there. That looked like some little bit of net code or something there. I don't know if they actually touched each other, but Herman into the wall hard. Well, at least enough to knock the toe out of the car. Let's get a replay of that if we can. I think
Van de Zandt is back on the track.
Oh, as Herman loses it on that might bring out a caution, and he resets quickly. Wisely resets quickly. He got onto the access road, and car just spun on him on that access road with that damage he took. Luckily didn't take out anybody coming. Yeah, so Van de Zandt back on the track. I'll have to check out those lap times from him. So last lap, Caleb Bensey was about a 10th faster than the leader, so not much between them. So I'm going to bring up starting positions. Dakota there started in 12th. He's currently running in 12th. I wanted to see if he's moved around, and he hasn't quite worked out for him. John Freese started in 15th. He's up to 11th. Adam Nash, a big mover, started 16th, currently in 10th. Oh, and Drew White, even bigger, started 18th, running in 9th.
Yeah, +9. Those first 3 are starting to gap a little bit.
Yeah, from Isidro. I think Isidro lost some time trying to get around. I don't know who it was. Who was that? Herman. He lost some time doing that, and now kind of running on his own. He's under pressure from Dylan Blanton now, though. I was mentioning in the turbo race that this is one of these tracks that doesn't like to throw cautions. I don't know if you've noticed that, Gary. Maybe you didn't in the VOR race, but there's a lot of times where somebody will spin off a turn 2 into the grass, and then they're totally wiped out, and then it won't bring out a caution or anything like that because they're kind of off the racing line. Is how it's judged in iRacing. So no caution comes out and everything continues.
Yeah, you would think this track would have more yellows just based upon that it looks tight. It's a lot wider than it looks, really. Believe me, it is. But you would think there'd be more yellows here. The old tire model, with the way that the setup was and encouraged pack racing, yes, there were a lot of yellows. I don't think we're going to see very many yellows tonight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so Isidro, it was one of these new tire model or new damage model things where it looked like he brushed the wall and there were like a crazy amount of sparks here, but then it all repaired itself. So it looks good to go. Gavin Sanders is about 3/10 back from Bensi. All these drivers kind of running comparative lap times. Just a mistake here, a mistake there is all it takes for these drivers to gain some ground on their competitor.
Yeah, and it's really it's through turns 1 and 2. I went out in the turbo race. Whenever I saw James making time on me, it's typically when I had a bad line or I got into the throttle a little bit slower in turns 1 and 2. Turns 3 and 4, I believe, were my best turns, and I would make up time there. I could keep it pretty well buried through there if I really, really wanted to. You kind of crack it in the middle of it to settle the car down a little bit. You can even drop a gear if you want to, but you're pretty much through 3 and 4 flat out. And that was the case with the old tire model.
Yeah. So, Sanders about 2/10 off of Bensi there. Looks like he wants to get back up to the front, though, after starting from the pole and dropping back a couple spots.
Well, and he's picking a good time to do that because Shane might come back to them. Because here he is making the move on the inside. Taking a look on the inside.
Yeah. And these lap times have dropped off significantly. We started, the best was a 25.5 from Bensi. They're down to 26.2, so about 7-8 tenths off of what the best laps so far tonight.
So I was just getting ready to say that that lead group might shrink up a little bit because Shane has been running in clean air all night, and he has some lap traffic coming up to him. And I think he's already Herman.
Okay.
And he might be already multiple laps down, so he might just pull over and let him by at this point. But he's been in clean traffic all night. He hasn't really experienced the aero push in turns 1 and 2. Actually, it's there. It's not that bad, though. But we'll see how he handles it. He's probably another lap or 2 away from getting up into his draft envelope.
Looking through the field. Looking if there's any other tighter battles out here we want to focus on. Back in, all the way back in 15th position, Lusher and Cosgrove only a couple tenths back from one another. Yeah, so Van de Zandt and Herman both on the same lap. 5 laps down. Unfortunate start to the race for them.
So they are halfway through their first run at this point.
Yeah, it's about...
car into the wall, spinning down the front stretch. Careful. This is going to bring out a yellow.
Who do we have? Who was
I
that?
think it's Herman.
Oh, okay. Yep, I see that.
And there's your yellow.
There we go.
So I'm going to guess they're all going to stop here.
Yeah.
They're all going to stop.
But that's going to make it interesting because I'm going to get a replay of Herman here. But if everybody stops, they're going to have to pit another 2 times, basically, I think. So Herman gets into the wall off of turn 4 and just keeps it on that wall, it looks like, and then
yeah, he did a good job of doing
gets
that.
the toe. Isidro. Was that Isidro? I don't know who that was. It was like, did Isidro hit it, actually? Wow.
So Isidro did hit him?
Yeah, he hit him like full speed, too. I'm going to get a replay of this.
I did not see that part.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if Isidro thought he would reset and just like committed to it, because he just doesn't move at all until the last moment. And actually, Isidro at the very last moment, maybe because of the bar, on the front of the car.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't see him at all, and at the last moment he moved and he impacted the inside wall. So he actually didn't even run into him. I thought he ran into him. So, wow.
Oh, here they come.
Yep.
It's not for fuel. I mean, obviously, if they were caring about a fuel run, they want tires.
Yeah. But it looks like Drew White's going to take over the lead. So this is going to be really interesting. Nothing we had to deal with last. Looks like Van de Zandt's going to get his lucky dog. Okay, Lusher stayed out.
And Lusher's staying out as well. So what they're banking on is the bad air keeping the faster cars on the tires behind. They might be able to do it for a lap or so, but I've said that before with Shane behind somebody who did the exact same thing, and by the time we got to turn 3, Shane passed him. So we'll see if that's going to be.
We saw that. We brought it up during the last race. Remember Iowa, where Forsyth stayed out, but he was dropping through the field right after that. I'm going to go to a quick commercial break. As we said, we don't really have that many cautions here, although cautions breed cautions, but I want to do a quick Schaeffer commercial here.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, that was our valued partners there at Schaeffer Oil, paying the bills, and shout out back to them for sponsoring this season here, the Schaeffer's Cup.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yep. Very good to have them on board this season. So Neil Lusher and Drew White stayed out. Shane Coogan in third was our leader through this. This is going to be really interesting to see. Can Shane dice it up through the field and get around? I mean, if these two cars ahead of them end up being slow, the rest of these guys back here with fresh tires are also going to be trying to get around all of this. Looks like John Freeze on the pit lane for some repairs as well. I'm not quite sure what happened to him.
Okay, so both the guys that wanted to go around, I think maybe just to lead a lap, are now pitting.
Yeah, I think Drew White wanted to lead a lap here. That is points here. You have to be careful not to pass under the pace car with this pit lane being so low compared to the normal racing line.
Yeah.
So Shane Coogan's going to take the lead back.
So now everything we just said about what if, whatever. Yeah.
Lights are out on the pace car. So we'll be going back to green here. And yeah, with 100, somebody was making a comment about we're starting into the sunset here, or they were saying into the day, but we're really starting in the sunset, so it's going to be dark by the end of this race. And that, I don't know if he didn't quite have to deal with that earlier, Gary, but I think this race it's not quite twice as long, but it's 140 laps versus 80, and plus we're going to get a little bit more caution, I think, in this one than we got in yours.
Well, and when the track gets cooler, it's just going to get looser. So with the setup in these tires, it's loose right off the bat. There's ways to control that and combat that. But it's going to be more of a problem when the sun goes down and the track cools off. Yeah,
we saw that moment that Watson had coming out of the pits on cold tires. He almost lost it. The championship almost went completely south on him at that point, but he saved it.
They come down. Shane is taken off. He's ducking to the inside to kind of break the draft there. Comes back out to get a little bit wider line in the turn one. Gavin is looking on the outside of Caleb. He has the run.
Caleb had a little moment there on the exit of turn 2. Cold tires.
Patience, boys. Keep it together.
Yeah. Oh, we got a car going in the wall. I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, 2 cars!
Ben,
2 cars in the wall! 2 cars
into the wall.
3 cars in the wall! 4 cars in the wall!
Yep, that. So
Alright,
that was...
that's what you didn't want to see.
No, that is a bunch of cars wadded up there. So, that was Blanton. We'll get a replay of this. And that's just going to get worse as the night continues, as we just said, with the temperatures going to be cooling down.
That was loose in. That's
Yep.
yeah, loose in.
So we'll watch Blanton here. Get a replay of him. It's going to lose it on the that was, yeah, totally loose in. Hard into the wall. Then it was Tyler Coogan, Dakota, Shire. Dakota with a really big hit.
So now this is starting to feel like the Velocity Online, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just these multiple car wrecks are just taking the field down, and we're down to now?
Maybe like
maybe
10 cars,
10
maybe.
Cars? Yeah.
So watching the replay of Dakota now. Yeah, he just tries to avoid it, get on the brakes, and just... And then another car was damaged going by. I think that might have been Shire. I'm not 100% sure, though. Let's see what we can figure out here.
It's like Freeze is getting the lap back. Oh, and he caught... Okay, so what happened with Dakota is that he got off... he unloaded the car when you get off the power on a point where you're already going to be loose. So that was kind of a double whammy for him. That
Might
sucks.
have been Albie that got into that as well. Let's see here.
I'm showing Albie in the pits. Dakota
Albie got taken out by Tyler. Trying to figure out what the other car was, though.
So just by coming back out and turning laps, Van de Sant is going to move up to 10th place here in a couple of laps.
Yep. Yeah, so Albie was involved with that. Getting one more replay. We got plenty of time to get a replay. Let me know if the pace car lights are out so we don't...
Nope, the Homatro safety crew is still out there.
Yep.
Yep.
Even Drew White had a little moment there, but it repaired himself, or repaired itself. Oh,
I hope iRacing fixes that.
Yeah, it's all like prediction code. That's what it is. It's like, so between like on the client, well, I'm not even gonna go into it, but I actually understand the code a little bit as my full-time job is being a coder. So I've done some multiplayer coding before, and it's like this prediction that what is going to happen, and yeah, that's why you see some weirdness there. But yeah, we certainly shouldn't be seeing that. Doesn't look good on the broadcasts. Doesn't look good when you see a whole bunch of sparks flying out at you and from the guy in front of you.
Imagine they're going next time by.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking on the radio now. 20 cars. Yeah, won the green, next time by.
Yeah, exactly like the Velocity, because we had, 4 cars to run about 100 laps at the end of the race, right? So,
yeah, it was like the last 100 laps, it was like 6 cars, yeah.
Yeah, so not quite that bad yet, but let's hope everybody can keep it under control. Keep these tires warm. Forsyth's up to 4th. Adam Nash from 16th to 5th. Who else was a big mover? Cosgrove from 17th to 7th. Drew White, 18th to 9th. Might have had a little contact, but maybe not if he didn't pit again. Actually, I do think he pitted again, so he might have just double-checked that, yeah. So get everybody... Get their tools in place, their weight checker.
So what they're doing here, what I'd be doing in the car is I'm going to be setting the weight checker in the negative number to make sure to tell my car under no circumstances I want you to step loose, because I'm already got the bar set to be pushing. I'm even telling the right rear spring to even add to that, and we had a check up in the back, almost a wreck there, but the leaders are through one safely. And you could actually hear them coming through one on the power there. A lot more ginger that time.
I could certainly hear that on the broadcast too. So just taking it easy. Don't need to have another big crash up here.
You know, Gateway's starting to get the reputation of like how Michigan was for kart and IndyCar in the 80s, where someone typically is going to get their best career finish here because of the attrition of the field.
That's right. That's right.
So who's going to be today's Jose Lee Garza? Pancho Carter.
So we've got a lot of cars we don't usually see running in the top 10 of the field. Cosgrove running really slow here. Lusher, Drew White, Van de Zandt's going to try to take advantage of that, it looks like. John Freeze a couple laps down, running in 10th. So Van de Zandt, even though he's up here with everybody, he's about 4 laps down in 11th. He's going to need some more caution to get that working for him, though.
Yeah.
As Shane Coogan leads over Gavin Sanders.
So look who's in 4th.
That's Craig Forsyth, hand controls.
All right. Yes. Very impressive. I'm rooting for Craig.
I was watching the TI race today, and you guys heard the funny comment that Craig made during that race, right?
Yes.
I was listening, and I'm driving, and I almost really laughed big time when he said that.
And we had to give the story. That's where I segued into the King Hero story. It's like, oh, we got King Craig, and I guess we can't call him King Craig, but the story there is Emerson Fittipaldi was stuck behind Hiro Matsushita. I have to look up the correct way to say it.
Matsushita.
Matsushita.
I actually took Japanese class in high school, so I mean that doesn't mean very much, but at least I know a little bit.
So he was upset that Matsushita was in front of him, slowing him down, and he got on the radio, and the radio broke up just at an opportune time. But basically, when the radio cleared up, all you heard him say, "King Hero is in the way."
That's right.
So, King is short for something else.
Yes.
It might begin with the word "pho," but so that's how he got the nickname King Hero. He was in the way, but I believe his father was chairman of Panasonic or owner of Panasonic. So dude had a ton of money.
So he had a ton of money. Yeah. One of the as we just to cut away from that story, we're 100 laps to go here at this moment. So a lot of laps here left tonight. That's 125 miles left to go. But yeah, that's one of the classic IndyCar stories there. With
I love it.
Matsushita.
I love it. So the track record here is a 23.7206. And that's way faster than what these were qualifying at. Get this speed, though, 189.709.
Gavin Sanders is on the move right now. He has brought that lead to Shane Coogan to 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, he has run him down real quick. Yeah, track record's held by Will Power, by the way, 2017.
Yeah, with the we were discussing a little bit of that earlier with the manufacturer Aero Kit cars that had a ton of downforce. So these cars were almost 2 seconds faster than what we're running here. Extremely fast through the corners.
Now this track was actually on the front line of the IRL kart split. This is where the next year, instead of going up to Michigan for the US 500 to go opposite the Indy 500, the day before the 500, kart decided to come here and have their race here. Which having it the day before and probably having it within 4 hours of Indianapolis was probably a smart thing in hindsight.
Yeah, that's always a tough one if you were trying to go against against the Indianapolis 500. But like you said, so I wasn't sure when I remember seeing that statistic, and I thought maybe it was actually on the same day, but back in those days, I wasn't really paying attention to things that much. So.
Yeah, Paul Tracy won that race on May 24th, 1997.
Yeah, I remember reading the stat, and I thought it was about the same weekend, so it was surprising to see.
In a Penske Mercedes-Benz.
When they were still running the Mercedes in kart then, yeah?
Yep.
And that would have been, you said it was Paul Tracy, and this would have been 97?
97, yep.
So this would have been after he was fired and then rehired, I think. Because he drove for them in like maybe, 93 and 94, and then he went over to Newman Haas for a year or two, and then he was back over to Penske before he was let go again.
But it worked out for him. He got himself a kart championship. Okay, now we're going to see something going on here. Okay, the lap traffic goes way up and high in the gray. Hopefully they stay off the wall.
Yep.
That allowed Gavin to get really close. 0.2 is the lead, is the margin. So I was telling Matt before the broadcast, this track really is what made and got. Okay, looking on the outside, going into turn 3. Is he going to stick it? Is he going to stick it? He's staying with it. He's up high.
I think the high line is the one to have here.
Yeah, it is. They're coming down side by side, cross the finish line, dead heat. Who's going to take it to 1?
I think Shane's going to think better of it. Oh, he comes back on the inside.
No, Shane keeps the foot in it.
Couldn't quite make it work, though.
Pass for the lead.
Gavin Sanders takes the lead back from pole position, drop back a couple spots at the start, but by lap 48, he's back to the lead. And just looking at pit strategy here, we're about halfway through the stint. Probably about lap 70 to 75, we'll see these cars coming down pit lane once again. And then if things keep going that way, they're going to have to pit again, I think, right at the end.
Yeah. Well, probably a splash. We'll see.
Splash
with the field getting this thin, I would expect it to probably be a green flag stop. It will take someone to lose on. I don't think we're going to see very many two-car incidents, but I could be wrong. We'll see. There's still there's still a second gap behind the leaders that are fairly close together.
Yeah, we got like Forsyth and Shire is only a couple tenths back from Forsyth. That's kind of our best battle on the track.
So I was getting ready to say, this track is really kind of what put Helio Castroneves on the map. He had a very underfunded racing. He finished second, and that kind of put him on the map and on the radar of certain teams. And of course, then the next year he was racing Team Penske. This is the track and the race that put Helio Castroneves on the map. So this is another famous part of that race. Also, one of Al Unser Jr.'s last ever wins was at this.
Dakota said something. I don't know if he's even around, but do you want to bring him back up here? As Shire gets around Forsyth there.
Sure, we can bring up the driver animal.
Yeah, we'll see what he's thinking here. Hey, Dakota, if you're still there, we brought you up into the booth.
I am. Hello there. I just exited out of iRacing. Give me a second to pull it back up. I'm back in the booth where I should be.
Yeah, that was what it looked like. It was a tough break for you. Cars spinning ahead of you, and that was a 5-car accident basically, and kind of a couple separate incidents all in one in the same turn 3 and turn 4. So tough break there for you tonight. I don't know how that's going to affect championship and all that kind of stuff, but you were in second. Alex is running in 11th. He's 4 laps down, so I don't know how that will work out. Sanders has taken the lead, though, over Shane Coogan, and Shane's dropped back about 6 tenths, and Caleb's gaining on Shane at the moment.
Yeah, been pretty uniform the last couple laps.
Wes Shire got around Forsyth for the 4th position. So really good run for Wes there in the Homestead coffee car. That's what I'm drinking here today is that Homestead coffee. Probably about ready to run out of it here soon because
I'm finishing my champagne. So Caleb is living in the high line, and so was well, at least that time around. So was Coogan, but Caleb's living in the high line in 1 and 2. He's been camping up there.
Yeah, it can work. So one thing you didn't see, Gary, in that last race, the battle for the championship was really coming down to the end. Spates gained like it was about 2.5 or 3 seconds between Spates and Watson there near the end, and Spates had brought it down to about a second right at the end there when that accident took out Spates. But you know, he was making really good ground, finding the right lines at that track. I know Watson was probably trying to just be a little bit conservative, but you can make up some ground on this track, you know, just with some good driving.
Yeah, you can make up ground, you can make up time, big time. Just finding that right line, being nice and smooth about it, not scrubbing off speed. It's a really friendly track in that aspect.
Yeah. So Caleb is just kind of hanging around this 0.8 of a second. We were talking about Shire there. So Shire's all the way 5.5 seconds back from the top 3 here. I mean, I guess you guys can see that up on the leaderboard there. I've got it on the screen, but that's a big gap back to that. Not really a better battle in the field other than the top 3 here.
And they got some lap traffic coming up in front of them. That looks like John Freeze. I don't know if he's going to move over and let him by. I said I'm going to guess at this point going into turn 1, he's probably not going to do that.
I'm going to go on board. I haven't been doing much on boards here today. Well, we did a little bit in the turbo race, but going on board with our champion Caleb Bensey here. As he goes around John Freeze there on the inside line.
Good job by John.
I think we've noticed this season John's a pretty smart driver. Always gentlemanly with his where he's putting it on the track.
Yeah. Unlike some others that I raced against on Saturday, they know when the faster traffic's coming. or Friday.
Well, I'd say both probably, yeah.
There was a certain driver in the Turbo Series that was not watching their relative very well, and I came upon him, and it cost me a win.
Oh, that was in a previous race this season, right?
No, that was the TNT.
Okay. You said turbo.
Friday.
You said turbo. So yeah.
Well, there's a driver from the Turbo Series that was in that race. Yeah.
Okay. I see.
They weren't watching their relative. Yeah. And I've still yet to hear from them about a sorry or anything. But I don't even think they know they got in my way at this point.
Yeah, it's just chaos in that TNT series on Friday. Tuesday Night Thunder on Friday.
Special events.
Special Events League, yeah.
So we got Cosgrove for the 9th position is in.
Just going a lap down. Oh,
there we go. He went a little high there. Almost
really
got
high.
it.
I thought he might be just rubbing up against the wall there as all top 3 get around him.
So down in front of Gavin is Lusher White, and down the road a little bit further is Van de Sand.
And
getting
then,
close to that pit window too.
Yeah, you're right. Forsyth's about 2 seconds off of Shire there. Nash another 2/10, I keep saying 2/10, 2 seconds off of Forsyth. So Nash running the USAF Thunderbird car. I have no idea what Lusher's livery is though. Yeah, I can't tell on that one. Almost looks like a state flag of some sort. Drew White running the Jeff Gordon livery. This one's made by the Sunset Arctic Graphics Company. They're owned by Dakota DeMade here.
The art department of Sunset Arctic.
Yes, the art department.
graphics department. Sunset
Graphics.
Arctic graphics. It's the graphics department.
Well, I think I said that, but yeah.
Yes.
You can't have the graphics department, the art department at the graphics company.
the Photoshop department of.
Yes. As Drew White lets Gavin go, we'll see Shane Coogan's going to be working on him. And a little bit of a moment there, but looks like he made it through. We'll see if Caleb can get around here as well. And he does. Shire's coming up on Cosgrove.
That allowed Sanders to get about almost a second and a half, 1.2.
And Caleb's about a half second off of Shane there.
The first 5 are still within 10 seconds. That's not too bad at this point in the race. Yeah.
We're not quite to 80s kart yet.
Coming up to halfway. Still sunlight. We haven't gone into the nighttime hours yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What was the start time of this race like? It was probably it wasn't sunset. It was probably late afternoon.
I thought the turbo race was sunset.
Okay. I would have thought the sun would have fallen by now if it was actually. But we're only 45 minutes into this, so.
It's moving right along pretty fast.
Yeah. So closest battle on the track is Ben C. and Shane Coogan, about half a second between the two drivers here. Go on back on board with Caleb there and just show you guys what a half second in an IndyCar looks like. And that was lap 70, halfway through.
You can just hear them going to turn and 2 on the edge. Just hear the tires.
Yeah.
So a half second looks a lot closer than what it really is.
Yeah. And I can see Caleb's just struggling with the, that aero wash he's getting from Shane's car up there.
There's no easy way around it. There isn't.
That's where you got to go searching for different lines that don't have this turbulent air. And everybody is about 48 laps into the stint, so they've got to be coming down the pit lane here shortly. And that will put them about, 20 laps short from the end of the race, so for a splash and go at that point.
Oh, that should be exciting.
Yeah. And of course, everybody's going to have to deal with that. This is like one of the worst pit entries to deal with. And it's not easy.
Well, pit out is actually a little treacherous too.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah,
that takes a little getting used to. I worked on my pit outs, and I was able to do a pretty solid pit out. But even my pit in, by comparison to what some of these guys are probably doing with the green flag run, I'm still conservative just based upon that one event that I had. Yeah. It's like, you're in the lead, just don't give it away. I don't want to be entertainment for anybody watching the stream. I want this race to be as boring as possible.
That's right. As a driver, you really do want it to be as boring as possible.
So Gavin just did lap 50 of the stint.
Yeah, we did have a couple laps under caution here, so a couple of those would have been counted under caution. So Lusher and Drew White, they had pits, so Drew White can go a little bit longer than everybody else, but I don't think where they're at it's going to really help with that.
Yeah, point. Lusher and White, Lusher lap 26, White lap 29. That was the last time those two stops. Okay, I'm hearing radio traffic about pitting, so I don't know who that is. Okay, Shane, so one of the leaders is pitting. Yeah. One of the leaders is pitting.
So this could be a way to gain some time on the track if these tires are... Well, their last laps were pretty quick, and what is happening here though is the
26.0s. All
temperatures are coming down, so I think the track is actually increasing in speed.
Okay, here comes Gavin. He's taking a very conservative road in, but there's 2 slower cars in front of him, so he's gonna have to take it easy. And looks like Caleb is picked up the lead now.
Yeah,
he's cycled through, and he's going to get credit for a lap lead.
Shane still on pit lane. Gotta be careful not to get a speeding penalty too here. And of course we saw that moment on the cold tires, so I have to watch Shane, first car coming out on these cold tires.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on the leader. I believe I heard Forsyth pitting here.
There it goes. Bency in the pit lane. And Gavin Sanders coming off now.
Sanders is down and away. Here comes Shane. Up to speed. Shane's tires are going to be warm. I think he's going to get him, actually, to be honest. With the warmer tires. We'll see.
We'll see. Here it comes. Might take a lap or so for Gavin to get his tires up to temperature.
Here's Caleb. Caleb is already on exit road. He is going to exit out right in the middle of this
battle here.
Wow. Great pit stop by Caleb. In lap and out lap.
Still does not cycle ahead of Shane there, though. But, whoa, as Gavin Sanders
it is! Oh,
taking out Shane as well. And that was caution. Lucky for Caleb to make it through that. Wow.
Your leader is Lusher right now.
As we were talking about about him he's on 53 laps on a stint, so that's not yeah, wow. So we're gonna get a replay of what just happened there. Gavin Sanders losing it on those cold tires that were not quite up to temperature yet.
I was kind of hoping, I didn't want to jinx it, I was kind of hoping for an all-vor night, and no, unfortunately.
Looking at this replay here.
Lusher is on the pit road.
He didn't get onto the rumble strips or anything like that. And Shane Coogan just kind of innocent bystander on that. It's actually the second race over in the VOR series. He was involved in an unfortunate accident last Saturday as well. No fault of his own. So tough break for Shane here tonight once again. And then there were what? Actually, we only have about 5 cars on the lead lap right now because of all that, but some people will cycle through.
So even though Alex was the first one to crash there, it still looks like he's going to finish second in points.
He's sticking it out. Yeah, he's sticking it out.
I didn't even see what happened with Alex there, because that was it didn't bring out a caution or anything like that. So
it didn't. It was he was on the inside of me and he lost it just like Gavin did.
Oh, okay.
And I guess didn't do enough damage to take it out. So
yeah, let me see. Well, I can't see what his best lap. Well.
There was a moment in the turbo race where I was coming up to Christopher Kresge, and he got down, and I saw his tires hit that rumble strip, and I said, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!"
Yeah, you did not want to hit that rumble
no, and it was going to take me out. I was right in the vicinity that it would have been not good for me if that was the case. And I've been taken out before by Christopher's too good of a driver to let that one happen. I was taken out by a much lesser driver, so I credit Chris's driving ability to definitely keep the car under control there. But yeah, hitting those rumble strips, which he didn't, but he's down low with cold tires, and that's just loosens the car up right there.
Yeah. So Shire in second position, Craig Forsyth in third, Lusher's really the lucky one here, because quite a few drivers went a lap down. Well, actually, that's not really that true because 2 drivers have crashed from that. So Adam Nash on pit lane. I don't know if I think he's got some repairs to do because he's been on the pit lane for a while.
current stop's about 50 seconds already. Looks like Forsyth is on pit road.
This could be smart to pit now, even if you had just pit, because
that's less fuel you'll have to add during the splash.
Yeah, you might. There's a chance somebody could get to the end almost here. It'd be 50 from the green flag. It'll be like 56, 55 laps. If you run on fuel mode 5 or something, maybe you can make it, but it'd probably be too slow. Because Caleb is, I'm assuming we don't have any more cautions, Caleb is going to have to pit again. I think everybody will have to pit again, but I don't know. You save a lot of fuel, maybe you don't.
With my my new wheel that I have, it frees up some buttons on my button box, and 2 buttons that I now have mapped on my button box are the ignition, so I can actually shut the car off under caution if I want to.
I'm not brave enough to do that. I know some people do, but yeah, I don't think it'll turn back on even if I have the button.
Well, actually, in reality, they're not supposed to, but they
No,
they would clutch it if they had to. Then they would bump start it that way. But they don't have folks at home. These guys do not have onboard starters. That's they're cranked by a, let's call it a starter, which is basically a large drill with a rod at the end of it that cranks the engine, and the engine then turns over.
So I think we're about to go back to green here with Caleb Bensey, West Shire in P2. We got a bunch of cars on the inside there, I guess, just letting the faster cars go.
Yep.
How many cars do we actually have running in this race? I think it's 9.
Sanders is showing, or Cosgrove is plus 6 laps. Van de Sant is plus 3, Rees is plus 4, White is plus 1. So Nash Ford is on the lead lap.
And I can hear these drivers going through turn 3 and 4, very tender footing it. And already Caleb up to a 2.5 lead over West Shire there in P2. I think everybody's just kind of happy where they are at this point, even though we've got 54 laps to go.
I don't want to jinx him, but maybe Caleb has found that lucky shamrock again, that lucky clover. He did not have a great race on Monday at the TI race at Mid-Ohio, which was his home course, which I'm sure angered him quite a bit. Looks like right now luck is visiting him once again.
That's right. Yeah, Caleb, through no fault of his own, involved with 2 separate incidents in that race. Still in the lead of the championship over there, though.
Although I do like to have him have another DNF because he was hilarious in the YouTube chat.
Yes, he was. So Nash 4/10 off of Forsyth here, going inside of Forsyth. I think that Forsyth is, maybe he's fuel saving already here. Like I was mentioning, if you can fuel save from here, you might.
Well, first of all, he did make that late stop.
Yes.
Second of all, he is fully capable. He is that good of a driver that he can do that.
That's right. Yeah, so that would be something. That would be something. But he's going to have to maintain enough speed to keep him also ahead of, say, Caleb and Wes when they pit. So this is what it's going to be.
Not easy.
No.
Not easy, no.
Caleb's just kind of cruising here on his own.
So Caleb's stint now is 11 laps. Shire's 12 on this run. Forsyth's stint is only 6 laps.
Yeah. So the difference in speed here is like last lap for Caleb Bensey was a 25.9, but Shire and
26.3,
26.3, 26.2.
26.1, yeah.
Yeah.
196, yeah.
Did you try running any with like fuel mode 5 or anything like that, Gary? Like just to see what it could do? Yeah.
Nope, I was engine map 1 all the way. Foot down, go.
Yeah, I generally don't figure out what fuel map 5 can do until I'm somewhere in the race.
If the race was more of a like this length, longer, that would allow me to do something like that. But basically, if you're looking at an 80 lap race or even a 140 lap race for that matter, it's a bit of a sprint. You just kind of got to go.
Yeah.
I know. James won on fuel mileage last week, and you could do that on a road course. Ovals, not so much. You just really kind of got to go and got to push it.
Yeah, because if you're just doing a complete fuel run, you're going to be so slow running that fuel mode 5 that it probably won't work out in the end.
Yeah.
And again, I don't even know if Craig is doing that. Honestly, I don't think he is. I think it's a little bit too much to make it. So we'll see how that develops, though. So Bensi putting another lap on John Freeze. So our top 9 cars are at least still running here now. Shane Coogan and Gavin Sanders end up 10th and 11th. Van de Sant 3 laps down in 7th.
Whoa, taking a high line in there.
Who was that?
Caleb.
Okay,
Caleb at 1 and 2 taking a very high line.
Yeah, I
in
saw
there.
one of his exits was really high coming out of turn 2.
A little high off the floor as well. I mean, he's got it under control.
Yeah.
I'm not down to it all. But,
That's right.
I mean, he is the champ.
Yeah, he just needs to keep focused and try not to get bored driving around in here on his own. But Caleb knows how to win these races, and he knows how to win championships, so...
So they're about a third of the way through there.
Nash and Forsyth still battling. Nash got inside of Forsyth, hasn't quite got it to work. They're coming up on a slow car of John Freeze, and they get around him. Freeze goes to the pit lane to get out of the way, in fact.
That's good for him.
Yeah.
And those two racing hard. At this point, though,
this could be a
how hard
podium for them, you know?
Yeah.
So-
How hard do you want to race? Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's the thing.
It is the shot to get interviewed by us, right? This is what, so lucky would they be.
The highlight of Wednesday is to get to
Yes.
talk to Matt and Gary and Dakota
Yeah.
tonight.
Yep. So,
Well, you know, also it's a great way to end the season.
That's right.
The next season, I don't know if it can even be announced or whatever, but I forget when it starts. But it's, you know, if you can end the season on a high note and go into the next season with that same level of momentum, it never hurts. Big Mo never hurt.
that's a good point. I should probably maybe post this schedule for next season during the race here. I'd have to get it and set it up, but I think I can do that. We don't have much going on. You can watch keep an eye and do some play-by-play, Gary, while I set this up.
All right. I'm just pretty much watching the leaders here.
The camera is on Forsyth and Nash.
All right. We will go back and watch them.
Here we go.
Vinci is coming up to some lap traffic.
Yeah, Nash is just keeping a couple tenths back from Forsyth.
Yeah, Nash got a good run off of 1 and 2. He's taking the high line, so he's getting a faster exit. He just can't quite get the nose to that rear wheel. Okay, he's in the draft.
He's making it now,
stuck in
yeah.
there. He's going to make it. They're
And
side by
he goes
side,
low.
and he washes.
He
No,
almost
he
did a
doesn't.
side job on him.
Yeah, he did. He almost did. Now, Craig's still there. He's not lost them, so he's going to try to stay with him through 1 and 2 and set him back up to the slingshot going back into 1. So let's see what happens.
Yep. He's not
close
quite there,
enough.
though.
No, it's not quite close enough.
They both go low in that corner, contrary to, like, say, the way that Caleb was driving where he's running that high line. I do have the schedule. I'll show it later once we get a moment where things are a little bit more spread out.
Yeah, old habits are hard to kill off when you're an IndyCar driver. IndyCar, typically, you're ingrained to get down to that line for the fastest way around the track possible. Yep. And it's not really necessarily the case in this particular track. And there's a couple other tracks like that on the IndyCar schedule. But it's, yeah, if you go to another discipline like trucks or Cup or something like that, and then go to like a track like Richmond. Like if you're an IndyCar driver, you're down on that yellow line. If you're in truck Cup Xfinity, you're about a lane and a half up. That's the faster line there, and it's a really tough habit to break.
One track that's really odd, because I would think it's, it's a mile track, and I would think it's like Milwaukee, is New Hampshire. But generally in these cars, you run kind of the middle to an upper lane almost, which always surprises me. Might be the setup I was running with a fixed setup, but yeah.
But it's not the same line for Milwaukee, even though Milwaukee's still a 1 mile paperclip oval.
Yeah, and Milwaukee, you run that low line completely down to the low line.
Yep.
And Dakota will remember I tried to make that high line work, but it didn't work at the VOR Milwaukee race. Tried to take him 3 wide. He didn't appreciate it very much.
Nope.
Maybe one of these
Code Brown moments.
Well, shortly after that, I brushed the wall, so that's what happened to me.
There's still some 1 mile ovals out there that iRacing can do for us. So if they want to resurrect something, there's always Nazareth. They can always resurrect Walt Disney World, but Pikes Peak is still out there. That'll be something that'll be fun.
Yeah, they can actually scan that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
still
existent.
So there was always an issue with Pikes Peak. We're not talking about the real Pikes Peak, but we're talking about the speedway they built up there.
PPIR,
yeah, PPIR. That they actually had some issue with the engines running up at that high altitude, actually, and that's one of the reasons like Honda or something kind of didn't want them. I don't know what engine supplier it was back then, but the engines might have had some issues up there with the air intake.
Not a problem in the simulation world.
Not a problem here.
Is the Nazareth track still there, or has it just been completely torn apart?
I think there might be some shadows of it.
It's overgrown with like grass and everything like that, and it's just not maintained at all.
That's what I had thought. Kind of a North Wilkesboro situation, I suppose.
It might even be worse than that. You can find some YouTube videos about it, and there's a video by this channel that I like about abandoned things. It's called Abandoned, I believe, and he went there. He said that it was a NASCAR track, though. So that one wasn't exactly correct. So Nash has actually built a second gap. Oh, as he goes around Drew White, almost had a moment.
We have a car on pit road that just stopped. That was Freeze. Freeze just stopped.
Okay.
So he is. I am going to imagine he is good to go for the distance right now. But he's 7 laps down, so but he's good to go.
So I'm going to bring up the schedule for the moment. I believe that Raceforce will be back as the broadcasting partner. So we're going to be starting June 2nd. That should be a Wednesday. At the Homestead Miami circuit for 126 laps, and then kind of running 4 weeks and then a break, and then 4 weeks and a break. Indianapolis 300 on July 7th. And then finishing the season here at Gateway once again on September 1st. So a season that runs from June 2nd to September 1st. There is a to be determined course in here. It is a road course, I believe.
Do you want to talk about July 14th?
No.
Let's not talk about that too much. But how about the fans in the crowd talk about IndyCars at Bristol heat racing? So what do you guys think about that out there?
I think it's a horrible idea.
But we're not part of the decision-making process. So.
I think it's going to be like 3 laps in a yellow, 3 laps in a yellow, 3 laps in a yellow.
Yeah.
There's a reason why IndyCars don't go there for real.
Yeah, well, we did broadcast the PM18 Road to IndyCars at Bristol, and I think that race will probably be better than the IndyCars would be there.
Well, they're probably at least 20 miles per hour slower, if not more than that.
It was lap record speed though, 12-second laps, which was faster than some like modified or something that they had there that had the official track record. Or was it a NASCAR Winston Cup or something like that? Or was it a modified?
I believe it was a modified. I'll have to look that up, but it wasn't a full-bodied stock car.
Isaac Morris, not a fan of the Bristol choice. I don't know there, Isaac, whether it would be even. He said maybe will be fun to watch as a fan, but was Freeze had a moment. He was on the rumble strips there. Shire in P2 had a moment. When
That's
really,
what you don't
really
want to see.
Yeah,
you don't want to see that.
Do not want to see that.
So we're coming up to, I know it's a bit of a boring section of the race, but we are coming up to the windows here soon for pit stops. Caleb is completing starting lap 39 of his stint.
And we saw last time they were able to make it almost to lap 50 of that stint, so maybe 12 laps, maybe about lap 130 here. He's going to come down that pit lane. Yeah, I don't even know if the Bristol would be great as for fans to watch. Isaac was saying that, but because it might just be a lot of driving around under caution. Although, with the heat racing, there wouldn't be caution. At least not in the heat races, but in the future, I think there would be cautions. I think that's what we ran it at Iowa, right?
Yeah.
Or the heat races had no caution, so it's like there will be a lot of wrecking.
For sure.
Yeah, that might be interesting with heat racing, I suppose.
You could get an IR01 around Bristol in sub 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's a driver from the Tuesday Night Thunder. Actually, Connor Baldwin's done it. He's going to be running IR01 short oval league.
Yep.
So that'll probably be on the schedule over there.
Like Delara Extreme or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody was really slow there. Was that Lusher?
That was Lusher.
Yeah, Lusher letting Bensy by. I don't want to upset the race leader. And I see Freeze taking the pit. He's actually running down the straightaway and running the pit exit lane to stay out of
be careful though. That's flat, not banked, and it's not doesn't have any tire buildup there, so it's gonna be really slick.
Unfortunately, we have no close battles on the track, so can't say anything about.
Nash has pulled away from Forsyth by about 5 seconds.
Yep.
So your drama here, folks, is when are they going to make that pit stop? Who can go the longest? Because it looks like a pit stop is going to happen sometime in the neighborhood of 10 to go.
Another thing I'm noting here is that the sun has not set yet. So I don't think it's going to happen. It's also almost just kind of stayed the same the entire race. I wonder if the sun was like speed was at 0x or something like that. Kind of odd. Would have thought a bit darker.
And here comes Caleb.
Okay. He's
on pit road.
Pit lane. So everybody's going to have to be really careful here. Don't want to speed, don't want to spin it on pit entry or pit exit.
He locks him up right before the cones.
With an 8-9 second lead, he didn't really have to do that, but he's going for the win here.
Shire is your leader. I imagine he's going to probably stay out as long as possible. And why not?
Homestead Coffee Car. Winner at in the Turbo Series at Detroit, surprisingly.
So Caleb with a on pit road for 31.1 seconds with a 7.7 second stop.
That's a quick stop actually for these.
Here comes Shire to put a lap potentially on. And he wants to do this in case there's a caution. And he doesn't need to be the caution. Stay out of the gray.
He doesn't need to be the caution. That's right. So Benson goes a lap down. But
Caleb can probably just let him go.
Yeah, the tires come up to temperature. But if a caution did come out, that could be bad.
That would be devastating to Caleb.
I
at this
think
point.
Caleb would get his lap back, but he might be restarting in like 5th or something.
Interesting. He is, well, I'm getting ready to say that. He suddenly closes up on,
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
back
he's
end.
got the better tires at this point.
Yeah.
So now he
He's
is
not
faster.
He's not pulling off that pass as easy as I thought he would. And I'm wondering how much that has to do with the aero. And, of course, not to mention, Shire is lighter.
Yeah. So Benson
Caleb-
did a 25.7 that last time, and actually Shire did a 25.8. So Shire with like 50 lap old tires did a 25.8. That's pretty quick.
Yeah, he's lighter. But then again, also, I believe you don't need a full tank of fuel to make it to the distance at the lap Caleb pit at. So
You're right.
Caleb's
Yeah.
not at maximum weight either.
He's almost going to be qualifying kind of fuel at the end of this race. As he takes it
There you go.
inside.
And that's what new tires do for you.
That's right.
Now, if I'm Shire now, I'm going to
He's
dive.
ducking
There he
into
goes.
pits,
He's
yep.
diving, and he has a car in front of him.
That looks like Cosgrove ahead of him. So with that said, so that pass that Benzie had was actually not for position exactly. He was still in 5th.
Yeah, that was just to get to the back on the lead net. Now, Shire started a little bit further back, so he's going to have one of the first pit stalls that he's going to get to.
So
just
Nash
really-
takes over the lead.
Yep. All right, Caleb now passes.
So here's the
And
goes back to
Shire's
a
down the way.
question we were asking a really long time ago about Forsyth and whether he can make it to the end. His last lap was a 27.7, so I think he's just saving fuel here. But I think
has
Caleb's
nothing-
going to catch up to all of these guys. He's going to be really careful here. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, he has
Crash.
nothing to lose
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh boy, there was almost contact between Lusher and Forsyth. Bensie's going to pass all of them. Fresh tires, maximum fuel.
Yeah. Nash is praying for that caution right now.
Yeah.
He is 49 laps into his stint. Lusher's at 50, Forsyth at 48, White at 48, and Alex at 48.
And Alex is 3 laps down.
9 to go.
Benzie back up to 2nd place.
Nash pitting in.
Gotta be careful on that pit entry.
Yeah.
Because I know he wants to get this podium finish here.
So he was just a caution away.
Yeah.
So that's going to cycle Caleb back. Here's Caleb in turns 3 and 4, making his exit of 4, picking the lead back up. 7 to go.
And that is the lead. Gonna have plenty of room over Shire. That's a really big lead.
So Lusher last time by 26.7, Craig by 26.9.
Well, they've got, well, it'll be 6 laps at the line to make it to the end of this. Let's see what Forsyth and Lusher can do here. Forsyth in a little bit better shape. And how is Shire, how far is Shire behind these guys up there? So they're just coming out of turn 4. Forsyth is coming out of turn 2, so really they're quite a bit up the track.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from the champ and the leader.
Yeah.
I think your story are these two guys stretching their
The fuel?
run. Yeah.
With Forsyth and Lusher there.
I'm keeping an eye on Forsyth.
He's got to be. Last lap was a
And
28.
he is coming in. No, he is
he's still
not.
out there.
He is
Lusher. Okay, I thought Lusher was coming in too. So
off pace. Look at him inside.
he needs a caution to come out. I think that's what he's looking for. Oh boy. This is a really long stint on the fuel here. Shire is 8 seconds back. Shire's coming out of turn 2. Forsyth in turn 3 and 4.
Free to go.
Yeah.
now I am entertained. I want to see these guys make it. That's gonna be something.
Lusher up there. Lusher's going a little bit faster than Forsyth though, so I think Forsyth's saving a little bit more fuel than Lusher is. Is he coming? No. He looks
Now,
like he's going so slow. Is he running fuel more?
Shire doesn't have to. Shire doesn't have to.
Yeah,
and he's
Shire's
running them down.
I'm gonna go on board with Shire and see if I can. He's still not quite up there. Yeah, I think that white car you can see way up there. That is Forsyth. So in the 3rd position. 2 laps to go here.
Yeah, Shire's gonna run them down.
Certainly the longest I've ever seen a car stay out at Gateway.
Shire's gonna run them down here.
Yep. Final lap for Bensi though. And Shire, I think that Forsyth might have put that fuel as Bensi wins it here. We were focused on Forsyth and everybody.
Yeah.
But
there was almost a wreck.
Lusher, he's making it. I think he's out. And Shire gets him at the line for that second place. But Lusher ends up P3. Wow. I've never seen a car, so both Lusher and Forsyth, Lusher made it 58 laps, Forsyth 56 laps. That's
and Van de Sant 56.
Fuel saving here at Gateway. So let's put the camera, though, on Caleb. He's going to be doing some championship donuts, race-winning donuts here. Wow.
And Craig says he ran out at the line.
Well, they kept it really exciting for us there to the end.
Oh, Alex is saying on the radio that he was in map 8.
Yeah, I think that Forsyth was in with how slow he was going on that back straightaway.
Well, the exclamation point on the championship right there. Right.
Well, we'll bring up our championship driver here momentarily. I think Dakota left to go talk to Shane down there.
Uh-oh.
So, nah, I think they're good. But
I know.
Yeah.
Shane, please report to the hauler. Shane, please report to the hauler.
Yes. Okay, we got Lusher there. Going to wait for Caleb, though. I want to get championship interview first. Or maybe we won't, and we'll just interview Lusher. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and interview Lusher since he's in here already.
It's got to be a happy man. Let's put it that way. Way to go out. Way to end the season.
All right, I'll pull him up here now. Hey, Neil. This is Matt up here in the booth with Gary. You got a copy? I believe that you are on mute at the moment, so hopefully you can get that unset. No comment yet. We'll give him a moment to get it sorted out. This would be the worst experience in the world when you get onto the podium, you get the interview, but you can't quite get it all sorted out.
I was on the truck race that
We'll
my team.
put him back, and we'll bring up our
Yeah.
champion, and then we'll bring him back later on. So.
Yeah, on the truck race that my team won on Tuesday, I was like telling the driver, "Okay, remember to thank the sponsors."
Yes.
Say this, say that.
Yeah. All right, we're bringing Caleb up. Caleb Bensey, our champion here in the Schaeffer's Cup Series. Exclamation point to the season here with a win here at Gateway.
Yeah, man, what a odd race. Thought you looked that way from the broadcast, but yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Yeah, I know. I mean, Dakota just told me there how lucky I am. I could say I think that was probably the one race where I say yes, I had some good luck, but that's about it. But yeah, that was a very odd race, kind of an odd setup, and caused some big incidents for sure.
Yeah, interesting setup, I think, as well. Yeah, so, but you were third at the start here. You were one of the fast cars in practice, though, but Sanders and Shane beat you out in qualifying, but, you survived, and unfortunately Shane got taken out by Sanders getting loose, and you made it just through all of that. Probably thought you were going to be part of it with some of the luck you had last on Monday. But you made it, and you won here.
Yeah, even though it doesn't matter one bit, I'm still mad about qualifying. I absolutely nailed turn 1 and 2. Like, I was on pace for maybe a 24.8 with the optimal I had, and I completely butchered it in turn. Like, I was off and on the curb in 3 and 4 and still put up like a 25.1 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was a big opportunity missed there, even though it didn't really matter. But yeah, the restarts, as you could see, probably turn 3 and 4 was absolutely treacherous. I mean, you could kind of ease it through there, but you were just right rear was just hanging out the entire time. And I could say when I came out of pit road there, when Shane and Gavin got by me coming off the pits, I knew that Gavin was loose multiple times there at the start of stuff, and it wasn't just the first lap, it was multiple laps, so I knew it was his second time going through there, so I honestly had a watchful eye on him in particular, because I know the clean air is a little worse because you got more on your front wing, but and sure enough he started coming around, but I was in a good spot, just kind of hugged the bottom, but then after that it was pretty much smooth sailing.
Yeah, no challenges from behind. Of course, you still had to do a green flag pit stop, and that's always really tricky here at Gateway. So both entry to the pits and exit of the pits is just, as we saw, really tricky.
Yeah, a couple times, like coming in, and then even on the cold tires, and a couple times you turn 1, I'm like, why am I pushing?
We were wondering with, say, Wes there, you got your lap back, but it's like, did you really need to? So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I felt better up ahead if I could cleanly. I mean, I just kind of waited there for a good opportunity, but yeah, I feel like the last 2 races I've been so just focused on the race itself and haven't really focused on the championship much. But yeah, it's pretty awesome to have that all squared away and officially be a 2-time champ. So that's,
you're going to be 2-time champ. You're going to run the number 1 next season. Really great run this season there, Caleb, and we've got to repeat it over in the TI League as well, and upcoming. Well, I wouldn't be repeating it, but in the ERL as well, you'll be making a run for the championship over there as well.
Well, I haven't had much assistance, neither of those.
No.
TI with some other drivers, and then my scheme didn't give me much assistance in the ERL. So
yeah. So.
Kind of needed this one for a little pick me up, but it's been a frustrating week and a half or whatever. But yeah, hopefully still. I mean, barely have a championship lead in TI, so hopefully can put 3 more runs together, strong runs together, and see what happens there. And yeah, in the RL, I'll definitely be on the catch up for the rest of the year, which isn't fun.
At least they do have a drop race over there, though. You're a really smart driver. We know that, and that's what it's going to take to win over in TI and probably in ERL as well, and every season here in Reddit. It seems to be that way, and you've got it worked out. So
yeah, I appreciate.
Yeah, congratulations again. But we'll see you next season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, obviously, just want to thank you guys real quick. Broadcasts are always great, and obviously, yeah, thanks to you, Matt, and everyone at Race First for helping me get up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
Another series as well, but and also Fun and Fanny. Like I said, probably everyone's heard this already, but
yeah,
check them out. Custom bike care, honestly, it's really cool stuff. Check them out online at funandfanny.com, and family and friends as always. Thank you guys. I know it's always more fun for you guys running up front and getting wins. So
yeah,
I get one for you guys, and glad to finish the season strong for sure.
Sounds good. Yeah, well, I'll say one final thing about the Fawn and Fanny. They have a really cool website, so check them out as well. Just fawnandfanny.com. Just Google it, and then it's easy to search for. But yeah, take care, Caleb, and we'll talk to you soon.
That's good. And thanks again, Matt, for giving Fawn and Fanny shout outs. I know my family's appreciated that. So
yeah, no problem. I appreciate their support as well. So I know they like watching the broadcast every week as well. So it's always good.
Well, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Talk to you later.
Champions are always closers. Champions close big.
So Neil is back up here. I don't know. He muted himself. There he goes.
All right, finally.
How you guys doing?
How you doing?
Oh, I've had a 12 race series where I finished top 10 about 6 times and top 5 0 times. So I've not even made it top 5 before. So I'm dead happy. Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Tell us about this fuel save that you did. You were masterful. Craig was doing it too, but you did it just a little bit better, it looks like.
Oh, I was on map 5 from the outset. But then really just going into turn 1, by the end of it, I just stopped braking and I was just coasting for the last, say, 50 yards. And just sticking it down from 6th to 4th, and then just heading around the corner. And I was then flat out on turn 3 and 4. But just trying to save on 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew that. I mean, I was saying it, but then at the same time, I didn't even believe it. Like after the last restart, I was like, I think Craig. I knew Craig. I wasn't sure what your strategy might have been, but I knew Craig. I race with Craig in other series, and he does masterful kind of fuel strategy races. So I knew he was going to do something, but at the speeds you guys were running, I really wasn't sure you were, because at the early in the
you
run,
guys were on pace.
Yeah, you were like 26-second flat kind of speeds. I mean, at the end, you were 27, 28s almost. So I wasn't. Then I knew you were definitely saving, but I didn't realize you were saving the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky that last week I was racing at Talladega in these cars, and Talladega's all about drafting and fuel save. And so I made myself a little dashboard with fuel saving down to 3 decimal places, and that helps it down a lot.
Wow. Who knew that IndyCars at Talladega would determine a fuel strategy at Gateway? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Well, great run here. For some reason I've got like this replay running of your car, and for some reason it had you brushing the wall. I don't remember this happening. Maybe it's from practice. I don't even know.
What is your livery of, by the way?
Yeah, I was asking that during the race. I made that comment.
I like Super Dave videos.
Oh,
and
Dave Osborne.
Super Dave Osborne, 1980s and 90s Canadian American comedy star.
Yes,
for no reason at all. I'll have a look at my pit crew. That took me ages. It is the Super Dave outfit. I don't know why, but I did it.
Super Dave was on that HBO show, not necessarily the news, I think. Yeah, I have to go back and look at that. But I remember Super Dave. Yeah, he was like a daredevil comedy guy.
This is the second time that I've heard this week, unless you said it in the chat, either in this league or another league, because I've heard this name, but I actually don't know what it is. But it's the second time I've heard the Super Dave name in the last week. So, interesting. Well, anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, go check him on YouTube. Just sort of old comedy gold. So.
Will do. Well, anybody you want to give a shout out to? Anybody watching? Any family, friends that might watch this later, for instance?
Yeah, my wife, for not castrating me every time I come to bed late because I'm playing that. So
Yeah, you got to thank the woman. Definitely got to thank the boss.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's probably what? Is it 5 a.m. for you, or?
no, I'm an English guy in New York.
Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, it's 11. It's still late. It's tough, but always got to thank the wife.
Yeah, no, I got some great friends back in London, but shout out to my family and my 3-year-old daughter, who I'm getting into racing.
Very good.
All right, get them in early.
Well, congratulations here, and we'll see you next season, hopefully. It won't be till June. We'll be starting the series. I think it was, what do we say, June 2nd at Homestead.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then.
Congrats, man.
Thanks to everyone. Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Well, we got one more interview here.
Before you bring in the next interview, I was getting ready to say for Caleb, champions are always closing. They're closers. And he set the fastest lap time at a 25.464 on lap 135. He's not racing anybody. It's just him by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Fastest lap of the race, 135. Boom. Exclamation point on top of the exclamation point.
Sounds good. Well, we're going to bring up Wes Shire here.
Yes. Wes, well-earned P2.
Hey, Wes. Finally got you up in the booth here. It took a little while.
Yeah, it's all good. My internet was acting up anyway.
Tell us about your race. Finished second here. You started. I don't have where you started. You might have that, Gary.
He started
11th, I think. Yeah. Yeah. That was honestly just a race of me trying not to throw it in the wall, and I tried my hardest to throw it in the wall like 5 times. I just about lost it on both my qualifying laps, plus the outlap the first time around. Was it like 3 laps into the race? I was looking backwards down the track in turn 3. Man, all I gotta say is thanks to Homestead Coffee for keeping me awake and alert enough to not crash. Keep those reflexes up. Man, that was... Like, once the tire pressures came up, and once I figured out how to drive it, it wasn't that bad. But oh man, it was interesting until the tires came up.
Well, a really good run here tonight, and you've shouted out the Homestead Coffee enough and had it on the car enough. You finally convinced me to buy some. I don't know how much I have left of it because I ordered like 3 or 4. Small ones, and I'll have to order some more again because it's really good stuff. I agree with you totally. So,
oh yeah,
it's very good. If you're a coffee drinker, Homestead Coffee, it's good, really good.
Oh
stuff.
Yeah, should be homesteadcoffee.com.
It has nothing to do with the Homestead Speedway, like I originally thought it might, but it's out of
leads off season next season.
But it is it's out of Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, anybody else you want to shout out? Anything last comments for the season for you here, Wes?
Yeah, just really, really had a great time running, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and big thanks to Chris for putting the whole thing on. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and of course to Schaeffer Oil as well for being the title sponsor this season, and we hope to have him back, and if not, we'll have somebody else just as strong, and hope, they support us as well.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good, Wes. We'll see you next season.
Yeah, thanks. Looking forward to it.
Yep. All right, well, that's enough for us here, Gary. Caleb Bensi winning here tonight, really capping off a great season. Gavin Sanders really fast here as well in this race. Didn't have the finish he wants, but he'll be one to watch into next season as well, along with our regular kind of stars in here with Shane, Dakota, and Alex, and Craig, and we've got Wes right there. A lot of fast guys in this league, and we'll be setting up in June for another season. Do final shout outs to Schaeffer's Oil for supporting us this season.
Yeah, thanks to them. I also want to thank my sponsors for my win, Velocity Online Racing. Midwest Data Exchange, Midwest Fiber Exchange, Roma Collectibles. I thank all of them for kicking some money my way and putting my name on their name on the side of my car. Thanks to you for having me in the booth. It's always fun to be here every Wednesday, even though it interrupts my wrestling night because I like watching. I go back and I watch it, and it's always hard to avoid spoilers between now and then. But it's great to be here. I'm looking forward if we are going to be broadcasting the next season. I don't know if I'll be in the middle of that super late model league or not, but I will definitely be back for IndyCar because that's my thing, and I love IndyCar. And I can't wait to get it back going again. So congrats to the champion. And again, thanks to you. Thanks to Racers. Thanks for everybody watching at home who liked, shared, and subscribed this. And tell your friends about it. And we'll hope to see you here June 2nd and beyond.
I don't think I could have said it any better, Gary. So thanks for doing that shout out. And we'll lead out with a final word from our sponsor.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us some support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 Dirt Late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for Dirt Late model racing.